So, ladies and gentlemen, my name is Sharon Whiteman, and I love coming here every week with Dana Hunter and Gary Knapp. We partner bring these training calls for Australasia. And I'm so grateful to each and every one of you in that everybody just goes, yes. You know, if they're available, they go, yes, to support these calls because they do all of us such a blessing and such a pleasure. Now, today we want to talk, we always talk about Mannatech and it's a bit of a love fest, and we talk about it as, something that brings miracles for people. And those miracles are on so many areas of life, and sometimes that's hard to communicate. So we want to make this call that helps you help others and just understand the depth and breadth of benefits that Mannatech brings us and has brought each of us in many areas of our life. So I know Robin and Sully have a big day today. So Robin and Kina, Sully have a big day today. So I thought I'd let them go first. So basically we're talking about, your journey with Mannatech and how it's benefited you, obviously in wellness, in, being as healthy as you can be, in recovery, in income and lifestyle and mission and purpose. So Robin and Kina, thank you so much for being here.
Hello, Sharon. Can
There you go. You got it. Yep.
Okay. Good morning.
Good morning.
Thank you for giving Kina and I the privilege of being able to be here. We don't take it as a right that we have the right to speak, but we are very, very excited that we can come and share our personal journey with those of you who are listening today in the Mannatech family. And if you're not in the Mannatech family yet, well, it's our hope that at the end of this call that you want to join and be part of us. Well, I want to say first, I want to talk on a few topics. The first one I want to refer to is the topic of wellness. Well, I think that wellness is actually a journey. It's not something that you have and you have it forever. And that was very evident to me when at 45 years of age, just nearly 46, I was involved in a very serious motor vehicle accident on the Great Western Highway in New South Wales. And in 3 seconds, your life can go from what you think is wellness to being just about dead. And that's where I was. And so for me, wellness is a journey, and it's taken me a long time to learn that lesson. It took me 8 long years of being in debilitating health to be able to learn what it means to actually journey into wellness. And for the 8 years from my accident to when I met Mannatech, I thought that I was getting better. And the body, the human body, is an amazing machine, and it heals according to the level of nutrition that you are putting into your body day by day. So for the 8 years after my accident, I travelled along doing what I thought was best. I'd been a nurse, so I thought that I knew everything. And so I was doing what I thought, except I would not take drug therapy. So I battled on. At the 8-year mark, I was privileged to be introduced by what we term in the Mannatech family a Mannatech angel. And that lady, she saw my suffering and she said to me, Robin, I think you need to listen to this new science that I've learnt about. And she called them sugars. Well, of course, I reacted and said, oh, no, I don't want sugars. They're not going to help me. But I didn't understand this wonderful new science of glycoscience, or the glycans, as we call them, or glyconutrients. And so I had a long journey now to learn a whole new way of getting well. And that's what I want to share this morning, is this wonderful journey of wellness and how the body is able to take in these nutrients and the body's able to do its repair. So for me, I went from a state of being just existing, you might say, to a state of slowly gaining my wellness. And the body heals itself cell by cell. And that's something that is very foreign to most of us in our thinking today. So the body is made up of cells, and so it has to heal cell by cell. And that's what I did. And the most amazing thing for me, Sharon, and with those of you listening, is that my body was able to regrow minor and major pectoral muscles. And in the medical literature, that's just not an accepted thing, that it just doesn't do that. And so for me, I was able to regrow minor pectoral muscle first and then a major pectoral muscle. The other thing I want to quickly touch on, because there's many areas that this little call's covering today, but I want to touch on the area of emotion. Because today out there we see rage, we see anger, we see so much that has got to do with human emotion. We see, you know, violence, we see terrorism, we see all these things, and it's all got to do with emotion. And I want to put out to you all there today that human emotion is fed by nutrients. That might be a new concept to some, but I believe with all my heart that human emotion is fed by the nutrient content that you are putting into your body, the soundness of it and the goodness that's in it. And the human body, is my experience in emotion, starts to heal bit by bit. That's why I call wellness a journey. And for me, post-traumatic stress disorder, which is common in our society today, to me, it's just like a mental breakdown. And that's where I was. I'd been a very strong person in my life, and I never thought that anything like that would ever be my lot. But I had to learn the hard way, and the accident taught me that. And so the Mannatech products, they came in and they gave my body the nutritional support that I needed to be able to overcome post-traumatic stress. And it builds you inside. It's not a matter of strong will or anything like that. It's a matter of something that's actually happening inside you, and you can feel it, and it's wonderful. So that's my little, quickly covering my little wellness bit. Now I want to talk about the areas that I've been able to help. In family, we've been able to see recovery from gut functions, serious bowel problems. One of my daughters has had a large whole bowel removed and has had to live now with just a small bowel, and she cannot exist without two of our products, the Glycam product and the GI Pro Balance, the symbiotic product to feed the bacteria in the gut. We've been able to help people with allergies. Now that's very prevalent today. People carry around EpiPens with them for fear they might drop dead from an allergy. Well, we're able to help with allergies because that's an immune system problem. So we're able to help that. We've been able to help many, many friends with very serious and debilitating health challenges. And it's a thrill when you get alongside someone and you can see that their wellness is growing and getting better. And I want to talk now about another area that we've been involved in, and that's Mission 5 Million. Our company provides a most wonderful service, and I believe we've just served 8 million servings, and that's something that I rejoice in. I can hold up here, I hope you can see this. This is the little bag that we brought back from Dallas this year when we had the privilege of packing these. Now, we started with just a little bag like this, and into this bag we put in Mannatech's Phyto Blend nutritional supplement to go into this bag. This bag is put out by kids around the world, and we work with them with Mission 5 Million, and we put in rice, we put in some dehydrated vegetables in here, and some lentils. And then the nutrients go in and they boil it all up, and on the back is the instructions for the caregivers. And this feeds 6 children, and they only get 1 meal a day. So when you sit down to 3 meals today, and in our home we're going to have a lovely afternoon tea today celebrating 20 years of Mannatech in Australia with our storytelling afternoon, well, just be thankful. These kiddies get 1 meal. Anyway, if it wasn't for us, they wouldn't even have 1 meal. So this is a wonderful part of Mannatech, and you can become part of this as you share this gift with others and start taking the nutrients yourself. You're actually helping all these children. So that's another wonderful thing. It was such a highlight for us. And we've had the privilege of going to Mexico and visiting those orphanages and seeing those children's lives transformed. What more purposeful reason would there be to live than to change a child's life? The other area, Sharon, you've asked us to speak on is the area of lifestyle. Well, lifestyle has many, many connotations to many people. For me, lifestyle means being free to be able to help others, to go out there and help others. Now, if I had a 9-to-5 job, there's no way that I would be able to take a little Vietnamese boy once every week, bring him home here and teach him how to talk. Most of you have heard my story with Vincent. Gorgeous little fellow. He's now just turned 10 and I've been in his life for 10 years. And it's a joy now to hear him when he arrives in my home, runs up the stairs and goes, Koina, Koina, and he's looking for Koina. And it's lovely now to hear these little words starting to talk. And that's a joy for me to be able to do that. Now, if I was in 9-to-5, there's no way that I could do that. And it leaves you free to be able to go and help others, get alongside of people and support them. The other area, Sharon, you've asked me to speak on is income. Well, if it wasn't for Mannatech's income, I'd be a pensioner. And there's no way in the world I want to be a pensioner. I want to be able to support myself. I don't want to be a burden on society. I never have been. We've always been a single income family. I homeschooled my children, and I've always believed that it was my responsibility to take what is mine and be responsible and not be a burden on society. So to me, the income is very important because it gives you that freedom to be able to do these things. Lifestyle also can mean many things to people. It means you can travel. I've had the privilege with Mannatech of traveling to many places in the world. And that's been a real joy, going on the incentive trips. We've been to Vietnam. One of my greatest joys in my life was to go to China. I always wanted to see Tiananmen Square for many reasons of the work that I was involved in a mission. And I was able to go there. And that showed me that everything I'd done for nearly 30 odd years in my life was actually a reality. So that was a joy. So lifestyle is good. The wellness journey is good. The Mission 5 Million gives you purpose and gives you a passion to want to live. You've all got friends out there. Get out and talk to them, support them, show them how they can do this. And one thing I do want to say is that I think it's very important in this business, because it's actually a network marketing business. We have to realize that it's a people's business, and you have to become the confidant of somebody, and you have to be the best that you can be. So you've got to be, as we're all saying, a product of your product. And so I hope, Sharon, this morning that I've taken my 5 minutes to allow for the others, or 10, and share that with you all. And I thank you. And for those who are in the Brisbane area, you're most welcome to our home this afternoon, 9 Thelma Street, Malcrivat East. And we're going to have testimonies this afternoon where we're going to share what this nutritional supplementation and this scientific backed supplements can actually do for you. And we've got lovely testimonies this afternoon. We've got a wonderful afternoon tea organised for you all, special celebration cake. So come along 2:30 to 4:30 and join with us and be thankful for 20 years of Mannatech in Australia. And Sharon, I want to thank you from the depths of my heart for all you do. Thanks.
You guys are precious, precious colleagues. I can hear all that. I bet you that's cooking happening in the background for this afternoon, is it?
Oh, actually, they're building a house next door, and we didn't think they would today. So we're very sorry about that.
Oh, that's okay. I thought, wow, they're using the rolling pin in a ferocious way in the kitchen there.
It's a hammer.
No, we're grateful that you're here. Thank you. I know that you put on a big, huge event when you do things so well there. So thank you for being here. And just for everybody to know, Lynn Lena had a power outage, so she's working on coming back in on her phone if possible. But anyway, so kinda. I know that you have, a shared but also a unique journey with Mannatech as well.
Yes, I have, Sharon, and I've been privileged to be a part of Mannatech now for, nearly 16 years, actually, probably just over 15 years, actually. And it's been a wonderful journey and experience for me. I work as a nurse normally, and I'm fortunate that as Mum has already mentioned with lifestyle, that having a home-based business or working in the direct selling industry is something that can fit around the my shifts as well. So it's really good to be able to supplement your income with a bit of money, extra money from the Mannatech business. And I think that's a great positive thing that can happen. You don't necessarily have to do it full time if that's not what takes your interest, but you might still be really passionate about your other job. But it's also wonderful to have this sideline income. And as the price of petrol is so ridiculous at the moment, we certainly need extra income to be able to support our everyday existence. And actually, I was just reading a little statistic the other day that talked about 85% of women who make over $100,000 a year do so through direct marketing. So if you're looking for people to connect with and you don't quite know where to go, then certainly the female market is a very big market, and they're the ones who generally make the biggest decisions in buying products for their family or their friends. And they're obviously very relational as well. We love having a chat over a coffee and sharing something fantastic that we found. So I think that's a really good way. And I've been blessed with the lifestyle as well. I'll just continue on that track for a minute. With the travel opportunities that being with Mannatech has afforded, both through earning incentive trips to the Manifest conferences, which have been fantastic, and catching up with friends from all around the world involved in Mannatech, because obviously we are a global company, and it's wonderful to be able to have friends in many different countries and to meet up with them. It's like a big family reunion, really, and that's a really beautiful thing. And then to learn while you're at the conferences, and then have extra time off on the way home to visit different places, and obviously see many beautiful places around the world as well. So that's been a real positive experience for me. And yes, it is a beautiful thing to have a wonderful Mannatech family, really. And I think even though we're involved in different businesses, we're still all one part of the great big team. And our mission is to service people with amazing wellness products and technologies. And I think when Dr. Nugent was here just recently sharing about Mannatech Life, that was really fantastic to hear about the science behind the product and why they work and why they do the things they do. And so that gives us confidence to be able to share with people and these wellness technologies which change lives. And obviously we're very excited about our afternoon tea today, and we call it a real wellness transformation afternoon tea, and people come and share their real stories. And I think stories are a really powerful medium to use to educate people about what their bodies are actually capable of doing. And given the right tools to be able to do that, your body really can do amazing things. And so that's a really fantastic thing. And obviously then that leads into wellness. And for me personally, I was a young 21-year-old person when I first started taking the supplements, and but I had recently started working as a nurse, and shift work's quite taxing when you're not used to having a crazy schedule and staying awake in the night and then getting up and going back to work the next day. And I got run down and really tired, and I was tired all the time. I would catch whatever would go around at work, coughs, cold, flus, vomiting, all those sorts of things that seemed to spread quite easily. And I had some really bad cases of tonsillitis as well. I didn't know that could make you feel so rubbish and so sick. And so then, yeah, our beautiful friend Julie shared with us these amazing wellness products, and that totally transformed my wellness. I went from working and sleeping and eating to actually being able to live life, and that was really fantastic, because when you're 21 you just don't want to eat and sleep. There's so much more to life than just that. And so being able to actually then function and go out after work or have a lot more energy and not catch the bugs that were going around is a really wonderful thing. and then to be able to share that hope with other people that they too can have much better wellness and health is a really beautiful gift to be able to share. So I'm certainly very thankful for learning about the Mannatech products, and I love them all. And I hope if you're new on the call, and just a simple thing, we've had a lot of rain here in Brisbane for the last week, and there's nothing nicer than in the afternoons having a beautiful Glyco Cafe. So if you're a coffee drinker and you feel like your coffee doesn't give you the nourishment that you want, then Glyco Cafe certainly does that for you. So, and if you're a Mannatech consumer and you haven't tried Glyco Cafe, I would certainly strongly encourage you to do that because it's a great product. So yeah, just a little plug for that.
Kind of it's, I think the most important thing, and one thing that's really precious that we have, is that it spans generations, doesn't it? You know, I'll speak a little bit later about my kids, and it doesn't matter what age. You know, when I was thinking about this call, it's just, when I started for, you know, XYZ reasons, and Mannatech has really touched every part of my life, my friendships, my family, my kids, our colleagues, my personal development. You know, it's just been so impactful to me. I think I'm so grateful to all of us for trying to communicate that, because it's hard to express the depth and breadth of benefits that we've experienced. So thank you very much to both of you. Thank you for being here. I will understand if you have to go, but definitely you're welcome to stay. And I know Lynn is back. The power's back on, obviously, because looks like you're on mains power, not on your phone. So thank you for coming back. And Lynn, you're fitting us in a very busy weekend as well. So I'd like you to have the opportunity to go next.
Okay, thanks for that. That was great. Mannatech came to us through our daughter, and it came at a time that I was on a real downhill slide, and I was only in my 40s. I wasn't, you know, what I considered elderly, but my health was, you know, certainly affected, and so was my husband's. And I'd had several operations, about 6 just prior to Mannatech coming into our lives, and I seemed to be on this downhill run. And it just made so much sense when I looked into it. But like you, Robin, I didn't think there could be such a thing as a glyconutrient because I hadn't heard of it. So I chased around, found out that there was such a thing, and attended a lecture virtually on it, and decided that night that it just made so much sense that I wanted everyone I loved and cared about to know about it. What I didn't realise was there were so many more people out there in the world that I wanted to spread the word about. And what I find interesting today, I hear things in the news and things spoken about that we were talking about 20 years ago. And we were just ahead of the rest. And that's how Mannatech has always been. And being a developing company, you know, there's things that come along, you know, further down the track. I didn't like what was happening in the mirror, and suddenly they had youth. I'm very thankful that they brought that in for me. And so, you know, it's a moving target, but what it didn't only give us back a whole new quality of life, health-wise. It allowed us to show people in our family that they could also get a better quality. And I've even had friends drop in for a cuppa further down the track after we got onto the products. And I remember one couple said, I don't know what you're on, but I want some. Because they'd seen us prior, and then they'd seen us further down the track. And so it's been a really interesting journey over the years, because it has been a journey. And I like to, when you asked me this question, Sharon, and you asked me to, the guys asked me to come up to Queensland, I thought, you know, it's like Pandora's box. It really has opened Pandora's box for us. It's allowed me to help people in the family avoid all sorts of modalities that they didn't want to go down, you know, different healthcare things that they were going to need that they have been able to avoid. And so it's been a real blessing health-wise to us. We have healthy people in the family that we don't believe we would have even had here had it not been for knowing about Mannatech, and it's just looking into it. But when I first started, the actual business of Mannatech didn't even click with me, because we'd been in a traditional business, all the problems of a traditional business, and we'd also been in, when Mannatech came into our lives, we were both in a corporate position, and we were working around the clock, because when you've been in your own business, you work anybody else's business as if it's your own. And so, you know, we were putting in long hours. I was in a finance department at one stage, and, you know, I remember the longest day was 7:30 till 1 the next morning, and then we were still back there at 7 a.m. the next day. Crazy hours. And then I remember trying to get time off for something important, a family function. Well, it was actually a new arrival that I wanted to be there for, and I was told that I couldn't have that particular time off. Well, that was, you know, red rag to a bull. But all the things that happen in traditional business made me think, when they were talking about a business with Mannatech, I don't want a business with any other company, because I didn't understand what a business with Mannatech was all about. We're just connectors to a fabulous product and a fabulous company, and we can open up doors for people that they have always felt were closed. For us, it opened up not only personal development and growth in that area, but to be able to help others do the same is just phenomenal. We've had meetings with people around the world, like doctors around the world. We've been able to sit down with, and some of you out there that are listening will remember Greg Letourneau, and have drinks with him at the Hyatt in Dallas. Lovely guy. I met his doctor as well, and you know, here's a chap who nine doctors wanted to shut the life support down, and one doctor thought outside of the box. And it was a real honour to meet him and hear his opinion on things. And, you know, to see times in Mannatech where, you know, a young couple got married there because they felt this was a company that gave them the opportunity to do that. You know, there's magic moments in Mannatech that have opened up to us that are just phenomenal, that we wouldn't have got in any other business. And to be able to grow a business in Mannatech means we're growing a pie. We don't have a pie to divide, we have one to grow. And that is just phenomenal, because it gives opportunity for not only us, but everyone else we meet as well. One of the things that did open up for us was world travel. We had never been outside of Australia before, and world travel has been on the agenda. We've been over with a fabulous Singapore team that is just, they were the first Singapore presidentials, and when we were helping that group develop, it was really interesting, because back then we just had mobile phones. So I'd get a text from Marie and Philip, and, you know, we text backwards and forwards, and I'm going to a meeting and I need to know this. And so, you know, you open up relationships around the world, and you get to know different cultures. We haven't always gone to every trip that we've achieved, and some people think we're a bit crazy that way, but they just, if they've come at a time when we're not available, we haven't gone. But it's been wonderful to be able to go to the ones we have, and we've had some just magic moments of realising goals that we've had over the past, like going to Disneyland. Well, we've been there a few times now with Mannatech. Mannatech actually took us over for their 10th anniversary, and we had an amazing time in Disneyland. And I've brought back a watch for Hank, and I sat there and watched the lady create the artwork for it. And anyone that knows me knows I'm into art. And I was able to watch the artwork be produced and then put onto a watch band, onto a watch face, and bring back the watch and the artwork for Hank. So, you know, that was sort of rather magical. He likes things that are outside the box too. He likes things that are individual, and so that's the only watch in the world that he's got. Those sort of things are just not available with other businesses that you get involved with. Like traditional business, you can't do those sort of things. If you're out of the business on holiday, you're not earning. But with Mannatech, once I understood what was happening, and it came about quite interestingly, because I was just asked a question. Someone said to me, Lynn, you'd be terrific doing this. and it was Mike Forrest who said it, of course. And I said, "Oh, Mike, I just want to help people." And he asked me, "Who's helping more people, Lynn, you or me?" And at the time, when we started in Mannatech, we just started taking the product, and I'd had such phenomenal results that we just started sharing that. So we became accidental, back then called nationals, just with not trying to run a business with Mannatech, but just enjoying the products and sharing that knowledge. And at the same time, Mike and Maureen had actually built a business, and they were about 8,000 people up on us. so in that same period, and suddenly that was like a bucket of cold water. I realised if I really wanted to help people, I could help them far better by multiplying what we do rather than just adding to it. And so that started us on a business career with Mannatech, and it has been a saviour in so many ways. You know, there's been a time when it helped us from we were almost bankrupt because Hank had hurt his back at work and hadn't been able to work for 2 years. So that was a difficult time, but the Mannatech national business became an executive business, which kept the wolf from the door. And that's the benefit we have. We can increase what we're doing and increase what we're earning. Some of I've written down a part, I've got different things that I can bring out, but we turn around and look at working with family. I've been able to work with my daughter, 2 daughters, and a sister and brother-in-law. So, and when you're working with family, it's quite different. You have different things to talk about, whereas normally you ring up and say, "Hi, how's the weather down there?" And right now, here, it's raining. And I had that quick power outage, which was quick, but it didn't allow me to get back in for a little while. But it opens up relationships with not only your family, but people who are strangers that become like family, and around the world. And you can learn about different cultures. You can also learn about different modalities. We've met people around the world that have different modalities in healthcare that have been opened up to us because of Mannatech. We'd have never met them. We would have never known about what they particularly do. And so that's been a real blessing as well. But today our health is better, our relationships are better because our personal growth over the period of time, Mannatech, you come into Mannatech and the growth, you take one step at a time. My husband's just come back from getting classes, his new classes, so that was him whizzing through the back there. Your personal growth and development is tremendous, and it also helps you with the things you want to do in life. Like I'm into art, I've been able to, I write for a magazine. I also do art myself, and I've been able to realise some great things in the art world. And I don't know that I'd have had the determination or the will to do it if it hadn't been for the development that has progressed with Mannatech. I always remember my sister coming along to a very early meeting and saying to me, "I see the swan on the top, but I see her paddling really hard underneath." I was a person who I was a person in school even that in grade 4 I wouldn't speak to a 6th grader. So I was very shy. And most people wouldn't believe that today, but that's the truth of it. And I suppose that's the development that has happened over the time. We've been able to realise our goals and dreams that we never thought we may be able to achieve. And still today, Mannatech is growing, and it's always it's like a journey, the never-ending journey of whatever it was called, because you're continually taking steps forward, and those steps help you grow, and it helps your business grow, and you help other people grow. And to know that every time someone decides on our products, a child is fed overseas, the right nutrition, we're making a difference in the world that is just phenomenal. And I'm privileged and honoured to be part of that. So I'm going to say that, you know, it was the best decision that we have ever made. And it's a simple decision. You take one step, and then each day you take another step with the partner that you've chosen to join with. And it's a phenomenal company, and I'm really proud to be part of its history and part of its future. Mm-hmm. So I'll finish there so that we can hear everybody's stories.
Thank you, Lynn. I got goosebumps hearing you talking about Mike. He said those same words to me. What an awesome legacy he's left for all of us.
Amazing, amazing.
Yeah, it's 20 years next month for me with Mannatech. So yeah, it's part of my life and my culture, and always will be. So thank you, Lynn.
It's who we are, not what we do.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Fantastic.
Thanks, Sharon.
And Diana or Gary, who would like to go next?
Why don't we have Gary and we'll break it up with, love to hear from one of the men from within Mannatech.
There are a few men, aren't there, Gary? Just the lucky one.
Well, good morning, everyone, and thank you again, Sharon, for asking me to share a bit of our story. It's a bit different to many of the stories you hear, because I didn't have any reason from a health point of view to search out Mannatech or come across Mannatech, but I had it was more a business kind of combination between wellness. My story is that I was running the Australian National Skydiving Centre, which was a really successful business, had 17 full-time and about 35 part-time employees. But after about 10 years, that became like running an adult daycare centre. It was a fantastic team, everything was good, but there were all these things. It was like neighbours every day. There were all these issues going on, and you're kind of like a dad to all these people. And someone who worked for me at the skydiving centre asked me, because I actually have an honours degree in marketing, and she asked me if I'd heard of network marketing. And I hadn't, never been covered in my degree or any of my studies to do with marketing. And so I looked into it, and, well, it just made so much sense. I saw the actual business model, and I thought, gee, this is really clever. I'd like to look more into it. And she was actually part of a very well-known big company, which I then joined. And I had obviously heard people saying about MLM or network marketing, and not really getting a huge amount of good feedback on it. And to be honest, I could see why. It was, when I went to meetings, it was very hypey. It was mostly about money. It was there was a lot of pressure. There seemed to be a lot of angst between teams. You know, you weren't allowed to speak to that team, and you weren't allowed, you know. And I just thought, well, I liked the model, but I didn't particularly like the environment. So I started looking around at other companies, and I joined a few different network marketing companies, and it was much the same. There was a lot of hype involved, and I could really see why the MLM industry had kind of got that reputation in a way. And I was beginning to get a bit punch drunk, and someone invited me to a meeting about, or actually it was a pharmacist who asked me if I'd heard of glycobiology. And I said, no, I hadn't. But by then I'd got really interested in health. I've been part of the Australian delegation to the World Championships in 1989, and we'd been very, very highly sponsored. And so our sports psychologist had heard this guy on the radio talking about peripheral vision and natural memory improvement. So money was no object. We got this guy in, and he transformed my life from a health point of view. And he was actually the first person that exposed me to the fact that lots of supplements are synthetic. They're made from coal tar and petroleum. So I kind of got onto that track of researching health products that were not synthetic, that were that were real food and derived from proper sources. So when I came across Mannatech, and I went to that first meeting in Sydney, so I, like Sharon, I've been involved 20 years next month. You know, it was a completely different approach. It wasn't about the money, it was about the technology that we had, the difference it could make in the world. And I'd never heard of glycobiology, and when I started doing my research into glycobiology, my eyes began to widen, because I really saw that it was a massive discovery that was going to make a huge difference in the world. And so I joined, and I found the community in Mannatech, and still do to this day. It was just completely different. It was more involved in helping people. It was seen to be a very intelligent group of people who were into the science, and you know, it wasn't driven by hype and money, although there was great opportunity in that, because it was using the network marketing model. Why did they choose the network marketing model? Because word of mouth was by far the most powerful way of spreading this amazing news that we had. So here we are 20 years later. It's enabled my wife and I to get out of the everyday, and it wasn't 9 to 5, I can tell you, it was more like 6 to 2 in the morning, running a skydiving centre, because we had a whole social communities thing to that. So every weekend, to get lots of people there every weekend, you had parties, and so it was pretty full on, and I did love it, but I decided that I wanted to move on from that, and network marketing would be a part of that future. So our dream, we sat down one day and say, what would our dream life be? By that time, health was a big thing, real food was a big thing. So we decided, my wife and I, wanted to get off the grid and have a property and grow all our own food. And Mannatech has really enabled us to do that. And we now have this dream property. My wife lives in the garden. She's an addicted gardener, grows all our own food. We have all our own water infrastructure, 100% of our own power. It really is our dream life. It's not for everyone, but it certainly shows you that you can sit down and say, well, what is my dream life? And Mannatech can be part of the mix, if you like, of being able to achieve that. Today, I think probably the most valuable thing about having a Mannatech business, and I do other things. I build mobile apps. I consult to businesses because of my, previous success in business. It means that I have things that I can share with business owners. But I think one of the most valuable things is the time freedom. I really literally do whatever I like every day. And that's just included, we've just had the World Parachuting Championships here in Australia on the Gold Coast, which I was part of the organisation for that and part of the volunteers for that. And there's no question of saying, oh, can I get the time off work? I mean, a lot of the volunteers, that was their 2 weeks annual holiday that they spent working, running that meet. So for me, it was just another opportunity to meet people. I've come back with a number of people to send information to. It's an amazing business that gives you so much freedom. I've been asked, the mobile app that I built for the meet was so successful. It was a massive success. Been asked to go and do the mobile app for the World Meet in Arizona next year, and in Russia the year after that in 2020. And I don't even have to think about, am I going to be able to get time off work? Am I going to be able to do those things? I have a global business, so whether I'm in Arizona or anywhere in, I think now 26 countries around the world, I can do my Mannatech business. And I've got the freedom to be able to do whatever I like every day, and that is priceless. As far as the business is concerned, there's no amount of money that can give you the feeling that you get when you change someone's life with the amazing technology that we have with Mannatech. That's very special. And we have Mission 5 Million, just such an awesome company to work with. And yeah, I just don't think in that particular business model you're going to find a better company to partner with. So it means a lot to me. The team thing. I mean, working with Sharon and Diana for 15 years now, running these calls, just awesome. So yeah, I just recommend it to everyone, and I don't think you can find anything better from a health and wellness point of view or a business point of view.
Gary, thank you so very much. You can see us all nodding our heads and smiling because there's so much that we have in common. So, Diana.
There you go. Thanks, Sharon. Oh, well, there's a lot even to reflect on there from everyone speaking, but one of the things that immediately comes to mind is Robin talking about the wellness journey. And unfortunately, I lost my wellness very young, in my early 20s. I guess upon reflection, I see that as a gift, because I know the value of wellness and maintaining that. And a lot of people don't know that till they've got some serious diagnosis, when they haven't been maintaining their wellness and for whatever reason, and something goes awry. And so at a very young age, that led me through very intensive discovery of natural therapies, exploration of complementary health. And all of that had been of some benefit, and I learned a tremendous amount about complementary health, but none of that had got me over the rise with my health. I'd had a long-term chronic fatigue like situation. And I'd also had my original career was in an allied health professional capacity. So I had a foundation in Western medicine, but that had nothing to offer me. In fact, in my early 30s, I got recommended for an invalid pension. And as part of that, they sent me off to a psychiatrist, as they did in those days. Luckily, I got deemed sane. But it wasn't much of a prospect for someone in their early 30s to go on an invalid pension. But I was, in the end, able to work very, very part-time, and I just got on as best as I could. At one point in that health journey, I was so desperate, I sold everything I had, everything I owned, including my car, to fund an overseas trip where there was the cutting-edge detoxification program, I guess you would describe it, intensive natural therapies. Did that for a couple of months over in Colorado, came back to Australia, and still was not recovered. So at that point, I made a lifestyle choice. I moved to regional Queensland, and I was praying for solutions, really. Again, I was just getting on as best I could. And Sharon here, who's a very close friend of mine, had been invited to a dinner party when Mannatech first launched into Australia 20 years ago, and she heard about these technologies. And as a good friend, she suggested that I take a look, which of course I did. And because of at that point, my foundation in Western medicine, my extensive experience in complementary health, I could see immediately that Mannatech were offering something very different, particularly the nutritional glycans. They were something I'd never heard of, but yet I could see that they were foundational to the function operation of our body. And the other thing that stood out to me at the time was that the nutrients were plant-based. One of the approaches to my health had been high-dose vitamin therapy, which was very popular in the 80s. And by the 90s, I knew the downside of synthetic supplements. And I was no longer even able to take those. And so the Mannatech nutritional products from plant and food sources made a lot of sense. So I jumped in there. I bought all the products that were available at the time in Australia, and I launched into a full program, probably double, triple the amount of the base recommendations. And after about 3 months, I started to have signs of recovery I hadn't had in 15 years. And I thought, oh, I think I'm going to get better. And over about an 18-month period, that's what happened. Again, as Robin said, wellness is a journey and recovery is a journey, especially if you've been unwell a long time. But over an 18-month period, I made a recovery. And of course, as you can imagine, that got my attention. And as it so happened, I'd moved to regional Queensland. I'd been looking for part-time contract work, which I'd established, and always been someone who puts 100% of who I am into what I do. Had been doing in that business, and they pulled the rug on my job, my part-time job, in a very unethical way. But that was a defining moment. So I thought, right, that's the last time I'm putting all of who I am into somebody else's business. I'm going to reserve some of my time, my efforts, my energy and my talents for myself. And Mannatech became the obvious choice. By that time, I knew about the integrity of the products. I also had researched and knew about the integrity of the company and the ethics of the company. And so I jumped in there. As Lynn had mentioned, the education that is offered free from the company, both in wellness and in business education, is outstanding and so much value into my life. Not just my Mannatech business life, but into my life as a whole, my communication skills, my understanding about wellness and the steps that it takes to maintain that. And then my education as a business person, it was all offered to me free, complimentary, as a business associate of the company. So I went on the learning curve, and with any business, with any job, there's a learning curve, isn't there? And this is the same if you're becoming involved from a business point of view. So I attended all the offerings of education, and I started actively sharing either the wellness technology or the business with others. And I built the business to a full-time income, working part-time. And what that meant for me, for a lifestyle point of view, was I was able to drop some of the hours in the job that I had secured for myself, and I was able to work part-time. Huge lifestyle benefits, able to have so much more flexibility around my time, which Gary was just referred to. Just recently, I have been down to visit family, and it was school holidays, and out of my own miscalculation and also out of necessity, I had to drive in peak hour through Brisbane. And I thought, I'm sitting in these traffic jams and I'm thinking, oh my goodness, good reminder of just the value of working from home. I love the commute down my hallway into my office. I love being able to wear my Ugg boots in the winter and keep myself cozy and warm. Just those simple lifestyle benefits, have my pets around me, those things I love. In terms of other aspects of the business, with the mission and the purpose, I see that as multifactorial. On a personal level, it's all, and I think as we get older, even more it becomes important that we're making a difference, that we're contributing back in some way. And so I'm able to do that with people's health. And, for the business team that we're working with, supporting others in, the education and the lifestyle benefits that they're seeking. Tremendously rewarding when you see people growing, or you see people's improvements in health and their lifestyle. And then, of course, Robin, I'm not going to repeat it because Robin did an awesome job there of explaining our Nourish Yourself, Nourish Your Child program, where we're delivering such improved lifestyle for children throughout the world. It's heartwarming. I often say, I can put my head on the pillow at night and know, that I've benefited, hundreds, if not thousands, of children throughout the world. So, and also in terms of lifestyle, Lynn was sharing about the trips. I've had the privilege of going to Alaska, Malaysia. I was also on the Disneyland trip. I've got a picture in my office of me next to Minnie Mouse. Just a reminder of the fun And also you can see here the quality and the caliber of people that I get to hang out with and work with, and Gary and Robin and Lynn and Sharon. You don't get that in the regular business and corporate world. People that love you and are wanting to uplift you to your highest potential. And that's what I have received in Mannatech. I get to hang out with a heartfelt, quality community of people. So I think with that, I feel complete. So I'll hand back to you, Sharon.
Thank you, Dinah. Thank you so much. So we'll just, that was very full. And we always say that stories is the best way to tell our journey, and that we really hope that each in our unique journeys that we've shared today has helped somebody out there in understanding our community, our culture, our technology, and the benefits that for people that, make this commitment to themselves and partner with Mannatech. I'll just open it again. Robin and Kana, did you want to say any final words? It's not letting me unmute you. You might have to unmute yourself. There you go.
Okay, Sharon, one thing I just want to say, and that's about one of our products, which I think is a little bit overlooked, and that is the new True Plenish. The whole system is excellent, but the True Pure is really wonderful for detoxing the cells at that deep cell level. And I personally have been on Mannatech for years, but I tell you, it's like having a colonoscopy. You take and just happens. It's amazing. And we hear all the time and read in the literature about the bowel being for health, the microbiome. It's just burgeoning science out there. But I'm just of the deep conviction that we've got the best thing here, because the colonoscopy stuff they give you, but this stuff actually pulls all the toxins out, and before you know where you are, you're on the toilet. It's wonderful.
Which is where they should go.
Thanks, Sharon.
Thanks, Robin. Kana?
I have really enjoyed hearing everybody else's stories as well. And yeah, I feel privileged to be able to partner with such wonderful people as well. So thank you very much, Sharon, and everybody else.
Thank you. Thank you. Lynn?
Lovely seeing you all and being part of this amazing Mannatech family. And anybody looking at this and trying to make a decision, just remember that the choices you make today give you the future you lead tomorrow. So I hope you come along and join us and be part of the family.
Excellent. Thank you, Lynn.
Thanks.
Gary?
Oh, sorry. I've forgotten about the trips. I've lost count, maybe about 8 trips, all paid for by Mannatech as a thank you for, being involved. It's just wonderful. So, yeah, if you are sitting on the fence wondering about it, don't waste another second. Get involved, check it out from the inside, and I'm sure you'll end up feeling exactly like we all do. So thank you for everyone for sharing your wonderful and different stories.
Thank you, Gary. Thank you so much. Diana?
Oh, well, I guess what comes immediately to mind is, the heart of what we're doing is delivering wellness, the opportunity or the choice for greater well-being and greater quality of life, both on a physical level and for those that choose in terms of financial and lifestyle. So, yeah, come and join us. We're a great community. We have a lot of fun. Yeah.
And there are more men than just me.
It probably is indicative of the percentage, though.
Yeah.
We can work on that.
I don't mind that.
We welcome more men.
Yeah, Gary likes it. So ladies and gentlemen, thank you so very much for being here, and make sure you spread the word. And really important, you want to work hard to get people on next Saturday's webinar, because it really thoroughly educates people about just how precious our nutritional glycans are, especially our new Abratos Life. So you'll be wishing you had 10 people on that webinar next weekend with Diana Hunter. So everyone, bless you all. Those of you listening, those of you we partner with, thank you so very much for being here.
Bye-bye, everyone.
Bye, everyone.
Bye, everyone.
Bye. Thanks,
I
Sharon.
wish I could get to Brisbane today. Sorry, I can't. See you, everybody.
Bye-bye.